I'll let it always out, mate. There's going to be loads of shit I've got.
So we're looking at the camera?
Only look at this one.
Yeah.
Look then at that one.
Yeah, cool.
Don't look at this one. This one's just a general wide shot of you.
Yeah.
Cool, you good?
Yeah.
Nice one. Right. That's staying in. Manchester is home to some of the greatest music of all time, but the scene has faced problems due to venue struggles and the COVID pandemic. However, bands who play in the city are keeping the scene alive.
Manchester is a great place for us because there's loads of small intimate venues where we can get gigs like we have done before, say off the square or maybe night and day, and then get bigger to Band on the Wall, and then even bigger to the Ritz and stuff.
But Manchester was just a city that really called to me because I feel like it's a really good middle ground between London, where everything is going on, that's where the industry is really, and your smaller cities like Newcastle, because it has such rich history and heritage.
The biggest bands you know in UK arguably come from Manchester. I can list as many as you can desire, but I'd never be able to end that list. You've got so many big artists that come from this area, especially the Northwest in general. So to play in Manchester and play in these venues which these big bands have played in is just like an honour in itself, you know.
We'd kind of done Newcastle, we'd done that for like 3 or 4 years, and there was no progression from there. We'd hit the ceiling, and I was like, we need to do something new. If we're serious about this, let's all just fucking move to Manchester. So that's what we did. We moved to Manchester, and it's similar to the smaller cities in the sense that there is that accessibility. You know, you can access those gigs and opportunities just through conversations. There aren't as many hoops to jump through as I think there are in London. But there's more opportunity. You're going to meet those important people in Manchester because it is so rich with talented and creative people.
What is it about performing and playing live with bands that really intrigues you?
Well, as soon as you hear like your own lyrics being sung back to you in a crowd, it's pretty mental, and it's got like a goosebumps feeling, and you just want to carry it on like all the time. Like I wouldn't have a day where I don't pick up my guitar or write some lyrics.
Success to me is just playing music that I'm proud of. So when I'm playing music that I'm proud of, whether people like it or not, I don't really care. I see that as success. Like if I know that I've put work into a song, a piece of music, and I'm proud of it, like yes, it's amazing playing those gigs, and I've played to many empty rooms before, and I've played to many full rooms before, but I think if I love the material, that's where I get the good feeling from, if you get what I mean.
Since I picked up that guitar, I realised I can produce my own music and make it, and studied from there. And ever since then, I've had more opportunities to play with incredible people, like the lads and the girls in Tripsit are incredible musicians in themselves, and just playing with them is such an honour because we can jam, we can practice, we can go out, you know, because I've made friends there as well. So it's a great opportunity in general.
Know my fate, I try to live as happily as I can. I hope you understand that I'm a...
The Night and Day Cafe has been open since 1991 in the heart of Manchester's northern quarter. Since then, it's seen the likes of Shaun Ryder from the Happy Mondays and even Johnny Marr from the Smiths. However, in November of 2021, the popular venue were hit with a noise complaint by Manchester City Council, much to the annoyance of its regular visitors.
It's been going on for so long now, Night and Day. It's been almost like a cult following. The people come to there. It's a cafe, it's a bar, you know, people go for drinks, not just for the bands. And I think if they were to lose that court case, then it's not just a great music venue that's been lost, it's also a great bar and restaurant and cafe in general that's been lost.
We did our first headline gig at Night and Day, sold it out, which was amazing. Small music venues are so important because, for one, I always prefer smaller gigs, no matter what band it is. I think like intimacy in music is so important. Those huge venues, arena-size venues, stadium venues, really take that intimacy out of the music, I feel, even though they're amazing, because, you know, one artist can bring that many people into one place.
1975 frontman Matty Healy even jumped into the case in an attempt to save the cafe, with claims he even tried to buy the flat above it. Back in March of this year, the good news broke that Night and Day would continue to operate as a venue, but just with a little less noise.
For them to win that court case is massive, because now so many more bands are going to be raring to go and play there. The amount of bands that have played here alone are what grips people into coming and watching there. And I think, you know, people keep up to date with what's being played there, who's performing, and who the artist is. So that's why you want to play at these venues such as Night and Day and the Ritz, etc., because people regularly look at what's on, and you know, even if it is just someone random on the website seeing our gigs on there on the Thursday and they want to come just for the crack, then that's a brilliant opportunity, and it gives us recognition as well.
To be honest, you never really know what to expect next with the small gigs, and you might find some small supports as well, which you've never heard of, and they can always surprise you, and usually they're very, very good.
Know where I had to be.
But I think it's becoming harder and harder for the grassroots kind of working class musicians to rise up, and seeing music venues close and seeing them go through tough times, those small independent places. It's really hard, because those are the places that keep the music industry alive. If every artist that was creating and successful was just super famous and wealthy and came from a place of privilege, I guarantee music would not be as interesting. So.
Well, a lot of the venues nowadays, the small ones anyway, they're pretty iconic, and they've hosted some massive bands. So to get to share a stage with them and play like that, all our songs on there, people should come to them sort of gigs, because it should draw them in. Like it's an exciting feeling for us, and hopefully for them.
From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home.
The music industry's definitely changed post-COVID, some ways for the better, some ways for the worse. I think gig etiquette and like the way that gigs are so different now to before. They kind of seem less genuine, if that makes sense. I don't know, the vibe that I get at gigs post-COVID is just different. For me though, COVID was an amazing time. I wrote so much music on my own because I had nothing else to do, as I'm sure many other artists. Obviously for like live opportunities, they all went out the window.
During COVID, we were like really young. I'd say like 14 years old, some at 13. So it was a bit of a blur, but we were part of this mentoring stuff back in Leeds, and one of the mentors decided it'd be a good idea if we had a bit of a rebrand. So we changed our name from Distortion to The Slates. Just suits us more as a style in general. And to be honest, that kind of is what made us just rise with COVID, because we did loads of stuff like internally to just sort out like the next steps with the band, and it actually helped us a lot for when we come out of COVID, which is exactly what's happened. Like we keep getting gigs more and more as soon as COVID finished. So yeah, it was a pretty good experience, but obviously bad in general.
It's not just a gig, it's an experience. With our first gig, which hit off massively, we wanted to make people experience the gig, not just via the music, but lighting, effects, the stage in general. We wanted such a massive drive for these people to enjoy the gig, and we were so grateful to get the support we did at the said time.
Comes next is probably festival season, and hopefully next year we'll maybe an album, I don't know, a couple of years maybe. But just keep releasing tunes, keep playing festivals, keep playing bigger gigs and stuff with over 1,000 people and stuff like that, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, circling back to like the whole kind of idea about success and success for me being just playing music that I'm really proud of, that I know I've put a lot of effort into. That's kind of my goal for the next year. I think we've always been very business orientated of like, how can we become successful and make this a career? How can we get the biggest gigs? And you know, our goal this year is to just write some really solid music and get it recorded. And obviously we've got a few festivals and a couple of big support slots that they're excited about, but I'm way more focused on the actual material and kind of getting that sorted.
So this next gig up and coming at, I've biffed it, lads.
Keep going.
Next
gig at Night and Day.
That's the one, I forgot the fucking name of the gig.